Welcome back. Prime Minister Narendra Modi took on criticisms of him and his government, especially with regards to authoritarianism and treatment of minorities in his recent interview to international publication The Financial Times. Now, in an interview where he exuded confidence about a third consecutive term, he also said that he's very confident of victory in 2024 thanks to his record of solid change in the common man's life. He added that people of India today have very different aspirations than even 10 years ago, and they know which party is the best party to ensure India's flight that it is on the cusp of. But I want to highlight his answers on the more vexing issues he and his government have faced over the last 10 years, and that has always been the allegations of being dictatorial and anti-Muslims. So first up, this is what the Prime Minister said on these issues, on the overall criticism and whether there is an environment of pressure on voices to speak against his government. So he said that there is a whole ecosystem that is using the freedom available in our country and are hurling these allegations at us every day through editorials, TV channels, social media, videos, tweets, etc. They have the right to do so, he says, but others also have an equal right to respond with facts. He added that those who doubt his government will be proven wrong in the same way as Britishers' dire prediction about India were proven wrong post-independence. On whether Indian democracy is backsliding, now that's a large criticism that has been made globally against India under Narendra Modi. He said, our critics are entitled to their opinions and the freedom to express them. However, there is a fundamental issue with such allegations which often appear as criticisms. He goes on to say that these allegations insult the intelligence of the Indian people. They also underestimate their deep commitment to values like diversity and democracy. There's been a large pressure or criticism of the opposition parties in India that the news report also mentions that if Modi was to come to power again, for example, for a third consecutive term, he could alter the Indian constitution in a way that the nature of Indian democracy could change completely. There have been fears of how India could become a Hindu Rashtra or a Hindu republic. He says on this that any talk of amending the constitution is meaningless. He talks about the large work his government has done and how all of those large-scale on-ground changes were effected without any constitutional changes but with the participation of the public. Now, he was also asked about minorities' treatment in India, especially the Muslims. To this, he said, without referring to India's large number of Indian Muslims, 20 crore almost at last count, Indian Muslims in India, he said, despite facing persecution elsewhere in the world, they, and he was talking about the Parsis or the Jews, have found a safe haven in India. That shows that the Indian society itself has no feeling of discrimination towards any religious minority. So he's answered that question by talking about India's large tradition of even allowing a micro minority, as the Parsis are, to allowing them to flourish, even though they have faced discrimination all across the world. He didn't quite speak of Muslims directly. The question we asked today is this: has the PM sufficiently answered his critics, especially speaking to a foreign publication like the Financial Times, that has also been one of his biggest critics in the past? Let's go across to our guest joining us. PKD Nambiar is a political analyst, so is Ravi Srivastava. I'm also joined by Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst. I want to take this beyond party lines, so I don't want to get stuck in the rhetoric that you often get when you're speaking directly to parties concerned. So I want to take this beyond and not be stuck with that. I want to begin with Tehseen Poonawala. You know, this question of minorities has been posed to Narendra Modi since he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. And, you know, since the last 10 years, we've seen that question. Frankly, as his government says, there's nothing that can be pointed out as an act of the government under Narendra Modi that is discriminatory. So why is it that this question keeps chasing, or is it just a narrative because this is easy to do against Narendra Modi? And is that narrative successful after 10 years?
Thank you for having me on the show, Shivani. Good evening. It's not a narrative that is just fake propaganda. It is rooted in some amount of truth. Why it doesn't succeed is because the Prime Minister and the BJP have an entire ecosystem that overlaps the truth. So it doesn't succeed because of that. But it is the truth that there is a lot of authoritarianism and there is a lot of hate being spread in our country, much more than what was being spread in the past. Um, Speeches made by top people in the BJP and they've got away with it are based on hate. In fact, Biduri, the speech he made and the BJP apologized for it. What punishments happened to Biduri? Nothing. He got promoted. Yesterday he spoke on the criminal law bills. Imagine he spoke on criminal law bills. And minority does not only mean religious minority. So that's a misconception. Minorities means all kinds of minorities. Today, just now, as I sit with you, the minority gender population, women, are female wrestlers, Jat wrestlers for the vice president, because he used that, who were molested. They were touched in inappropriate places when asked for protein by Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh's gang won the WFI elections. The Prime Minister has not removed him. If Prime Minister removes Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, he doesn't lose a majority.
From where?
Where has the Prime
Doesn't
Minister
remove
taken
him
action?
from where?
Will remove him from, ask him to resign as MP or kick him out of the BJP.
You do
Nothing will
know that
happen.
the party can't remove an elected representative from parliament.
No, the party can. No, Shivani, you're wrong. I've studied the constitution. A party can remove him. He will continue to be an MP.
Yeah.
The party will have the whip won't apply on him.
Yeah, so he
Number one.
continues to
Number
be an MP.
two.
You can't
I never
be,
said
your
he-
MPship cannot be taken away
one
till he
second.
gets,
No, Shiv-
till he gets
Shivani, I've
convicted.
read the constitution. One second. I've read the constitution. I never said remove him as an MP.
Then
Go
you
back
said
on your
from
own.
parliament,
I
you said, no?
No, I said from party, from his party,
Okay.
from the BJP. That's what I said. You can kick him out from the BJP. Did they kick him out? He continues. He did a press conference on women's safety.
Okay.
That man.
So, Tehseen, I want to understand from you. Do
Please
you
explain
believe
to-
that,
No, I- one
one
more line.
second,
I'll
do
take
you
one more line.
believe
Let's
that,
just take one more line.
yeah,
Adding to this, authoritarianism. Today, the Bombay High Court released Gautam Navlakha. I hate left loonies. I think they're absolute. They're a weight on our society. But Gautam Navlakha spent 3 years in prison on the accusation that he tried to assassinate our Prime Minister. Not one evidence was given. That charge was withdrawn. That charge was withdrawn. A man, however we may dislike him, I dislike him, spent 3 years of his life in prison on the charge of assassinating our Prime Minister by the NIA, which was withdrawn in court. They withdrew that charge. You
So-
put somebody in on a charge.
Tehseen,
What is going on?
the question that I'm trying to ask is that, you know, all of these things that you're talking about, parliamentarians having sketchy records or allegations, serious allegations. There are parliamentarians who've had allegations of rape, not just sexual misconduct. The fact that you're talking about how, you know, one person has spent time in jail, a lot of these things have happened in the past. My point is, what is it that is happening so dramatically different in today's India under Narendra Modi that does not have any parallel what used to happen for all of these years in 60 years? All of these cases have precedence. All parties can be accused of having people who've either said things that are hate speech. By the way, if you're talking about hate speech, one such member of an assembly has been made a speaker in an assembly. What about his
Yeah,
speech?
I agree.
So
I
my
agree.
point
I think that was ridiculous.
Exactly. So my
I think
point
it was ridiculous by the Congress.
Exactly.
I'll take the name. The
My
Congress
point
is wrong.
is-
I've tweeted about it.
My point is this: what is it that you have against Narendra Modi that is so dramatically different and peerless and precedentless that has happened in India over the last 10 years, which nobody can say has never happened in India?
Hate hasn't been mainstreamed as it has now. It's
But
been
that's an
mainstreamed
opinion.
now. It is. No, it's not an opinion. It's cool. It's cool to be vindictive. So you've always had this problem in India, but this was always a whisper. Now you have parliamentarians in parliament using the most cuss words I cannot use on a show, and no action being taken. For the shame of it, action was taken in the
Do
past.
you know in Parliament, an MP also said for what he said for North Indian states? Is that not
I
hate?
think that was. Of course it is hate. I was the first to call it out.
This is
I was
precisely
the
what I'm
first.
saying. For
But-
every
but-
such
but,
incidents you can point out to
allow
me,
one second.
I can
But there
actually
again,
refer to
listen.
instances that have happened. But the
And-
amount of...
and-
One second.
and then, does that
Tehseen,
make it-
Tehseen,
does
I have
that
limited
make it-
time. Two of my guests haven't spoken.
Sure.
What my point is that the amount of criticism Narendra Modi has got, this is not after his 10 years of being in office. From the day he came to this office, it was said democracy will die in India. minorities will die in India. There have been campaigns called of Muslim genocide. None of that is true. So is this criticism just criticism for the sake of criticism? I want to go across to Ravi. One second, Tehseen. Ravi Srivastava first, then PKD Nambiar will also respond. Ravi Srivastava?
Yeah. Shivani, good evening. You asked a very valid question that what has changed in last 10 years. I will tell you what has changed in last 10 years.
Yes.
We used to live with an absolute amicably all religions, all communities, all castes till 2013. In
Is that
10
true?
years, we have got a serious divide, a communal divide, a total distrust amongst the religions. You will find different things happening. And I would refer to the statement by the Honorable Home Minister who said just now that what was done in Gujarat has put the minorities in a place. Now they will never raise their head or something like that. As if
He
is
said
admitting,
that the way the 2002 riots were handled, there have been no riots in Gujarat since then. That's what he said.
That's what he said exactly. Yes, that he said it. He rather vindicated what had happened in Gujarat in 2002. He almost vindicated that. So that's what I'm saying, that this kind of hatred, divide, communal divide, hate for the other religion was never there. This has happened.
I think that's a challengeable statement. I'll tell you why. You said that this kind of hate and communities living together peacefully was witnessed till 2013 and has not happened since. Actually, if you look at the actual data on rioting and communal incidents in India, noted by the NCRB, that data, rioting and cases of communal incidents have gone down in India since 2014. Now, I don't know how to reconcile with what you feel versus what has been recorded on ground. I'm acceptable of your feeling, but feelings are different from facts. PKD Nambiar, what do you think?
Very interesting. Tehseen has started. Tehseen generally play the mid role, even though he is a Congress sympathizer, and I always salute his spirit of being true. But one thing I'll tell you, Tehseen, you made a small mistake today, that there's a fake propaganda. Of course, there is a fake propaganda. The toilets which were made, millions of toilets are made in India for the first time in a way, for the poor people, the underprivileged people, is a fake propaganda. The number of bank accounts which are Jan Dhan Yojana, wherein through which the complete policy has been changed and direct benefit transfer has been transferred to every individual's money. The number of accounts which Jan Dhan accounts are made is a propaganda, fake propaganda. So every word, whether it is whether the roads are getting constructed in the world record way, that is also fake propaganda. Yeah, how long this Modi hatred will take all of you? Where are you going to be in? The reality is that the 80% of the people, when they get free ration, they, whether it could be Muslims, Parsis, Christians, or any other, or Sikh, it's included for everybody. Is there any scheme which in India which has been made only for a particular section of the society? Is it for only Muslims, or is it for only for Christians, or for only for Hindus? Definitely no.
No, that is an important point. That's the only way you can judge a government. Yes, what is that the government has done which has been discriminatory? And for 10 years, we've been discussing discrimination by this government, and nobody has been able to point out even one. In fact, the data from the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister suggests that actually the most beneficiaries amongst the poor amongst India of the government's flagship schemes have been those who are non-Hindus. So, Tehseen, how long are you going to keep throwing this charge?
Let me bust this myth.
Okay.
Let me bust this myth.
Yeah, PKD, one second. PKD wants to just finish in 10 seconds, then you take on from him.
Please.
28% more housing for the Muslim community. Is that true or is it?
It's false.
Is it true that all the benefits of the governance has been offered more than the Hindus? It is for the Muslims are the major beneficiary. Isn't it true? You take any.
Okay, let him respond. Let him respond.
The problem is that
May I respond? PKD, I understood your point. And I knew this was, PKD, I understood your point and I knew this was where you were coming to, and I have a lot of respect for you. But PKD, let me humbly put that this is wrong. This is data propagated by the government of India. Can anyone on this panel, including you, PKD, please tell me, how does the government know whether a house is going to a Hindu or Muslim? Do they fill the forms? Have you seen the form, the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana form? I've seen it.
It
There is
comes
no
from the
religion column.
National Health Survey.
Please.
It comes,
Please,
I'll tell you where it comes from.
I'll allow you. Please allow me to finish.
But Tehseen, I'm answering your question. That data comes from the National Health Survey.
I know it comes. So allow me. I know because the answer was given to me. There are two places it comes from as per government or friends who are who study well, which you do. One, National Health Survey. Number two is the banks, particularly State Bank of India. Neither of these columns, neither of this data, by constitutional law, can be shared by the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. So now I am asking you, is this government in violation of our constitutional rights by asking the State Bank of India?
By
No,
name.
please, I request you. Please
This is
allow me.
classification that the National Health Survey does on many parameters. Hasn't started on 2014.
Please tell me, Shivani.
Oh my God.
I have never said.
Okay, let him finish. PKD, let him finish.
I'm asking, let your viewers understand. I am supposed to get a house under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. A to B is supposed to get. How does the health data or the State Bank of India data reach here without consent A, when by law it's not allowed? I've gone to Supreme Court on that.
I'll tell you
Number
why.
two,
Can I answer you?
Where does the government get this data to give it out? 28% Muslims got it.
1 second. Can I just come in? PKD, I'll give you an opportunity,
please,
and Ravi Srivastava also.
Shivani.
Tehseen, I am not a statistician and I am not an authority.
From you.
Yeah, I am not an authority on this, but I did read that survey that was released by the National Health Survey, which was released. And the way they do it, of course, is they measure it as an increase over a period of time. You understand?
How do they know the Pradhan Mantri ka ghar mila hai? So that's what I'm saying. वो तो घर measure करते ना. They are not allowed to share data. So how do you know Pradhan Mantri?
This is a survey. They go to people.
करेक्ट, उन्होंने शिवानी के घर में आए कि शिवानी के पास घर है, पीकेडी के पास घर है, तहसीन के पास प्रधानमंत्री वाला घर मिला.
Because the people share that. How did they build their house? They get this through the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. But they go to. I don't understand what the objection here is. घर मिल रहा है या नहीं मिल रहा है? This is a unique problem that you should not map who the beneficiaries are. That is your criticism.
Not Tehseen the truth.
Okay, 1 second. I have limited time. PKD and then Ravi Srivastava. 1 second, limited time. Yes.
Admitted to that unemployment rate is 9%. The Prime Minister himself admitted it. It's a part of the interview. He admitted it. And it's the worst. This is the worst. Because young aspiring population of India, you know that engineering graduates out of
oh God, we've lost the link with Ravi. We'll try and get it back. But I think he made the point on unemployment. Now, I am not defending the government on unemployment figures. My point was, and I'm particularly discussing the criticism that Narendra Modi as a person and his government gets on minorities, on issues of authoritarianism and minority. I'm not discussing unemployment or economy here. I'm leaving that because that's a vast debate. PKD Nambiar.
See, well, the problem, as I said, is all about a Modi hatred. And as much as you hate and as much as you conspire against him every day, what they are doing is that they are using the more name of the Rahul Gandhi than the Modi. That is going to be in his advantage. And I think the time has come for all of us to criticize the policies, not an individual, because you don't like him. That should be over. I think we all know that in the last 9.5 years, how the country has transformed. It is ready to take off to a next level, a growing country wherein the per capita income has been almost doubled in the last 9.5 years for the common man. That is the one thing which matters.
Okay, can I ask very quickly, Tehseen? Unfortunately, we've lost Ravi's link. Yes, PKD, very quickly, please. I have 30 seconds.
I'm just saying that at the end of the day, what matters today is that one needs to experience the governance. And I, as a citizen of this country, I experience
Yeah, again, that
governance.
is experiential. I don't want to get into the experiential because everybody's experience can be different. But Tehseen, this is a fundamental point which the Prime Minister also raises in his interview, that the vishwas he has of the public doesn't come from anything else. It comes from the ground change he has been able to effect. He has called it his Suraksha Kavach in the past. And no matter how many of these attacks on so-called minority, minorities treatment be thrown at him, it's not sticking.
Yeah, it doesn't stick to him. That's true. I also do agree that he is the most popular leader in the country. And I do agree with my friend PKD that personal attacks on him simply do not work.
Okay.
There must be attacks on policies. So my advice to the opposition is attack on policies, bring out flaws in his policy, in his administration, because I don't agree with PKD. The per capita income's gone up to almost double. There's been a serious debt problem in our country. Debt is now almost 100%. IMF has warned us today.
Okay.
There are serious issues to take him on. Take him on those issues. With
Yeah, but
decency.
does the minority issue
Work
is the question.
Just 10 seconds. The issues of our country is not the Prime Minister going in a dressing room or the size of the teeth of the lion on top of the Parliament.
I get that.
If the opposition does that, then the opposition is falling for it.
All right. I leave it at that. Thanks a lot for our panelists for joining us. Also, time for me to take your leave. My colleague Rahul Shivshankar is joining you.